Arjuna said, "O mighty Aman, I wish to understand the purpose of the renunciation, Tyaga, and the renounced order of life, Sannyasa. O killer of the Keshi demon, Rishikesha." So this is the final chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is finished in 17 chapters. Last chapter is like before completing a revision. First chapter, Arjuna asks some questions. Second chapter is Krishna actually answers all his questions. It's over. Bhagavad Gita is finished in second chapter. But then Arjuna says, Krishna, I didn't understand. You elaborate more. So Krishna elaborated more from third chapter to 17th chapter. And at the 17th chapter, everything is over. And Krishna revises the whole thing. And Arjuna prompts by asking the question. So he's clarifying what all he has heard. So he's fully convinced. So he's asked again this question. What is Tyaga and what is Sannyasa? Point from Prabhupada and the purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Certain impersonalists consider themselves monopolizers of the knowledge of Vedanta Sutra. But actually the Vedanta Sutra is meant for understanding the devotional service. For Lord himself is the composer of the Vedanta Sutra and is in the world. Prabhupada explained in the practically throughout the Bhagavad Gita, he is explaining the purport how everywhere actually worship of Krishna and devotional service is being stressed. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale
श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषाय शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे। जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Now Arjuna used certain words for Krishna. One was Rishikesha, one was Keshinusudana. Just like Madhusudana, Keshini, Sudana. And Prabhupada says, he says Rishikesha because he wants some serenity of the mind. Because Krishna is the controller of the senses. And why he said Keshi, Sudana, because he killed a great demon called Keshi. So he can kill the doubts which have come in his mind. Imagine till the 17th chapter, every word. Yeah, if you remember in the Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter itself, it says, Janardana, you want me to kill so many people? It had a meaning. You understand English? Okay. He says, Krishna, you are Janardana, and you are asking me to kill. So there is a meaning in that word. Janardana means who is a maintainer of living entities. And how can Janardana order slaughter? It's a contradiction. So you are very carefully use the word. And now also you say Keshi Nisudana. Krishna, you are killer of the demon called Keshi. So why I am using this word? Because please clear the doubts in my mind so that I can know what I should do. Yes, during translation.
The Supreme Lord said to give up the results of all activities is called renunciation, tyaga, by the wise, and that state is called the renounced order of life, sannyasa, by great learned men.
So these are connected actually. Tyaga means to renounce, and the stage of renunciation is achieved by tyaga, that is called sannyasa. Now Prabhupada is going to explain this sannyasa in a proper way. And he says sacrifices prompted by desire should be, material desire should be stopped. But sacrifices for purification of heart, advance in spiritual science should not be given up. Now this will be developed.
Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up. But there are yet other sages who maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned.
Okay. So there is a controversy here. Next.
O best of the Bharatas, hear from me now about renunciation. O tiger among men. There are three kinds of renunciation declared in the scriptures.
Now Prabhupada Krishna is saying here, hear from me about renunciation. What is my opinion about it? Because there are some people, renunciation means they run from city, sit down in the forest all alone. Yeah. It's not accepted as renunciation. It is called Margat Vairagya. Renunciation of a monkey. Monkey in a forest looks very renounced. He is sitting naked on a branch and like a sadhu. But monkey at one time has 18 girlfriends. It is said on an average. He jumps from one tree to another tree for that one. So externally looks very renounced, but actually internally he is not pure. So this kind of a vairagya is called so many terms. Phalgu vairagya, Markat vairagya, basically nonsense vairagya. So that is not, this kind of karma sannyasa is not being recommended here. So now Krishna's judgment is coming and we should take it as final. Okay? Many people have different ideas about sannyasa. People say go to Himalaya, sit in the cave, hear so many stories. These are not the renunciation which is recommended. Let us see what is recommended.
Acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the great souls.
So basically, Prabhupada said in the purport first thing that is there anybody who will say I am not acting? Every moment you are acting. Besides sleep, that is also activity. Soul cannot live without an activity even a second. Every moment activity is happening. Only thing is to better activity. Correct? You can't stop activity, that is not possible. Soul cannot be stopped. Soul is eternal. Soul is eternal, and the nature of the soul is always to be active. It is full of energy. Soul energy never dilutes. Other energies become this. Soul is always active and full of energy. Only thing, the activity has to be properly channelized. There are many purificative processes advancing in human being to spiritual life. There are many things, and Prabhupada goes on to say that there may be just like Prabhupada, sometimes he was, there were the disciples who came to Srila Prabhupada, and he could see actually they were having girlfriends. And they were chanting. They were not his disciples, basically students were coming. When they came to Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, can you give us Diksha? When Prabhupada landed in America, this was the situation. They were coming, enjoying kirtans and all. Prabhupada is watching, they come with a girl. He's silent about it. But girls are also chanting, dancing. And one day they come both, boys and girls together. Prabhupada, can you give us Diksha? Can you become a disciple? Prabhupada said, yes. You're chanting 16 not following is a principle, but one principle you're not following. First you have to get married. My disciples can live like this. So first he used to marry them, and then next day he used to give a marriage. He used to tell them, bring your parents, and then in front of parents he used to say, commit. Lifelong I will maintain this relationship, because it's very unusual in that country to make such kind of commitment. And then after that is over, probably the next day he used to give them diksha. So sometimes some people say, how can sannyasi participate in a marriage? It's a little strange. Prabhupada says, no. It is needed for the disciple, for his advancement. So these kind of activities, sacrifice, charity, penance, if it is needed, should not be given. For his stage, he has to go through that. Sometimes people say, oh no, marriage is finished. Not finished. He's followed rules and regulations. It's not that. Correct? Sometimes people have this idea. Brahmachari gets over. He may need that purification. Proper time, actually it was quite normal. In fact, in the beginning time what he had, he got them mostly married. Because later, because movement was growing very fast. Later, as devotees got more time and he trained them, then he was encouraging some to stay from the charities.
All these activities should be performed without any expectations of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, as O son of Pita. That is my final opinion.
Krishna's opinion is not ordinary. Supreme Court is giving decision. Fine. There is not anybody who can say, no, Krishna said that, but you can't say but. After Krishna said it's over. Many people you meet, Krishna says you worship me. You worship me only. And they say, but, why but? The Supreme Court saying, why but? You can't say any but now. Correct? Supreme Court put so many politicians inside jail. They can't say but. No but is allowed. You have to go. The final authority. Same way, Krishna is giving us, that is my opinion, means over. This is my Krishna's opinion. So, we should do activity. What is Krishna talking about? Nishkam karne. Without expecting any result. Prabhupada is saying how it can be done. In other words, all sacrifices meant for material advancement in life should be given. And the people do so much tapasya, austerity, material than give it. But such sacrifices purify one's existence and elevate one to the spiritual plane should not be stopped. It's like when somebody is inside hospital, his primary mission is to get cured. He should not think about I have to do this, I have to do that. Get cured. You are going to a jail. Why are you going to jail? I have to do something here. What do you have to do? You have to get corrected to come back to society. Correct? Isn't it? What do? Many people you say, why you are born? No, God has sent me to this world to do something. Not to do something, to become a gentleman. Prabhupada gives a very nice symbolism which I didn't have previously. He says just like in a body. Now sometimes what happened, recently it happened in Udupi, one boy, snake bite happened, small child, came in use. And then they have to cut the leg, because poison starts spreading, correct? So if we don't cut that leg, whole body is disturbed. Correct? We are also part and parcel of Krishna. And Krishna had to cut us, because whole body will be disturbed. It's very serious. Just like a part is cut, why? Whole other part is getting disturbed. So we were also, because Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Mavai Mamusha. He says, you are my Amsha. You are my part and parcel. But in the figuratively, in that sense, Krishna had to cut us off, just like a hand has to be removed, getting gangrene or something. The whole body, because we will be. Why we have to leave? Because we're creating nuisance in the spiritual world. Krishna, somebody is making bhoga, taking to Krishna. Hare, why? Me, I want. Why Krishna? Might not be. Krishna says, get out, you're disturbing the whole thing. It's like in temple, suppose Aarti is happening, somebody says, stop, do my Aarti. First we will throw him out of the place. Okay? So we were like that only. So in that way we can understand that we are here for only one purpose of purification. There is no other purpose we are here for. Therefore, every activity we do should contribute to my purification. Otherwise it is meaningless. It should connect to my ultimate goal of life. Correct? We are in a hospital to become healthy. So whatever I do in hospital should be become. Activities will start after you come outside the hospital. Activities will start when you come outside the jail, not inside the jail or inside the hospital. What activity there? Activities are rather painful there. Okay. So any activity which can purify us should not be stopped. Everything that leads to Krishna consciousness must be, and that was the art Prabhupada had. Anybody can, even some way they want to serve Krishna. Prabhupada will encourage them and connect it.
Prescribed duty should never be renounced. If by illusion one gives up his prescribed duty, such renunciation is said to be the moral ignorance.
What is prescribed duty? The activity which you can do because of a psychophysical condition for your purification. That is prescribed. This prescribed duty is not the way today it is. I am in engineering or prescribed means what? Prescribed means according to Varnashram, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, and Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. This chart comes. Wherever you are situated, there are certain duties you are supposed to do. That we should not keep it. And that is decided according to my psychophysical condition. A sannyasi will perform a marriage ceremony to keep his disciple in the advancement of Krishna consciousness, because some people took objection to that. Why sannyasi is doing? He did yagna or vivah yagna. So there's somebody in the house, sannyasi should not even go for vivah yagna, and he did it. Prabhupada said, no, if it is needed, it has to be done. It is needed for my disciples to advance. See, he did not compromise on principles, but he adjusted according to time and place. Generally, sannyasi will not. But where he has to hunt for a brahmana in America and to do it? Who is there? Himself.
Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear is said to be in the moral passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation.
See, many people, that's what they do. Now to get up early in the morning is very troublesome, we give it up. So Krishna is saying, it is not good. Troublesome or out of fear. Sometimes we give up something. We have to earn money, we get fear. I am doing fruitive activity. Sometimes for temple we go to raise funds for collection. When I am doing fruitive activity, I am collecting money. And for what you are collecting money? For temple construction. No? Don't be scared. No, if it is being offered to Krishna, be happy. Okay. And similarly, rising early in the morning, it will lead to advancement in Krishna consciousness. One should not resist to fear. Such activities are considered troublesome. Trouble or fear should not hamper our activities for advancement of Krishna consciousness. Okay. Either way, you may sometimes avoid.
But he who performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is of the nature of goodness, O Arjuna.
So this is the best platform to do prescribed duty. It should be done. It has to be done. You're chanting Hare Krishna. Why you're chanting Hare Krishna? Not that I am feeling pleasure. This is not the platform of a sadhaka. Sadhaka, it has to be done. There were sometimes that happen, we think I have to advance in spiritual life, and I have to go there, I have to go 500 miles, 1000 miles. People tell me. Somebody was showing that album today. I went there. Spiritual life, you will advance when you take shelter of a Vaishnava. Then your spiritual life will begin. Not by running here and there. Take a shelter of an Acharya. He guide you. Take you to Krishna's lotus. You see how much valuable it was. The great Acharyas used to travel in India. Oh, cities used to go to take their darshan. Correct? Because they know I have to take his shelter. He will guide me how to advance in spiritual life. Today that spirit is there, but it is not, the culture has gone out. Previously people are so keen, correct? So keen to, that should be there. Duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all attachment to the fruits of renunciation is the nature of goodness. Prescribed duty must be performed with this mentality. Because it ought to be done. I have to chant Hare Krishna, I have to take prasadam, I have to read about Krishna. Ought to be done. Correct? Not that I am not enjoying now. It's nonsense. That is how people follow. It ought to be done. Sadhaka platform has to be done as a duty. One should act without attachment for the result, no attachment. And he should be dissociated from the modes of work, the platform of the sadhaka. He simply works for Krishna, and when he gives up the result for Krishna, he is acting transcendental. So he works for Krishna.
Those who are situated in the mode of goodness, who neither hate inauspicious work nor are attached to auspicious work, have no doubt about work.
Those who are in mode of goodness, they don't auspicious and inauspicious, nothing is there for them. This is supposed to be done. Like Arjuna was thinking, I have to kill so many people in the battlefield, I have to kill my grandfather, I have to kill my teacher. This is inauspicious. No, it has to be done. That's it. Krishna is asking, it has to be done. Nothing auspicious and inauspicious. Devotee is transcendental. Bhadra, Bhadra, Manodharma. That is Shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yahi manda, this is good, this is bad, this is all mental speculation. A devotee does not live on that platform. His focus is, this is supposed to be done, that's it, I'll do it. It is said in Bhagavad Gita, one can never give up work at any time. It's a beautiful purpose. Therefore, he who works for Krishna and does not enjoy the fruited result, who offers everything to Krishna, is actually a renouncer. He is a renouncer. Then Prabhupada is talking about, see what happened, the movement opened in the beginning, there was no money in the movement. So many people came to join. Prabhupada said, please continue working, youngsters. Because how will the temple run if you join suddenly? So what they are doing, they are working, all the salary they are using to maintain the temple. Prabhupada is giving sweet words. There are many members of International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in the factory or some other place. And whatever they earn, they give to the society. Such highly elevated soul is so grateful to them. His heart was so big. Therefore, it is said, what is said, that a person who cannot control his senses, you do whatever, he will never be grateful to you. That is the nature. And somebody is fully satisfied, you give him one small help, he will remember whole life. That is the difference. Somebody's senses are uncontrolled, he is like a bottomless pit. Whatever you do is not satisfying. 100 years also you put effort to satisfy him, he is still not satisfied. But a self-satisfied person, little you do, he becomes great and he remembers it whole life. Because he is anyway fully satisfied. Oh, that's kind of you. So such highly elevated souls, Prabhupada is thanking them and put that in the purport to remain for 10,000 years. He's so grateful to them. Because actually they are the ones who made the movement. There was one thing, there was once a time, no money in the temple. So one boy was there, young boy, just joined, full time. Prabhupada had just come in half an hour. Came and he brought some $50. Prabhupada, what did he do? Prabhupada polished some shoes. In America you get $5 for polishing shoes. It's a rich country. And there are no people to polish. Many people want, nobody. Just like in Bangalore also, you don't get, if you're polishing shoes also, you don't get people. You don't get labor in Bangalore. America, imagine, is 100 times more richer than Bangalore. So where you get labor? Even rich Indians can't afford labor at home there. They can't afford servants at home. It's very expensive. And you have to pay very well. Just polishing shoes without money is a problem of seeing gratitude. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life. It is clearly outlined here how to renounce the fruits of work, and for that, for what purpose the fruit should be utilized.
It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, Therefore, it is said that he who renounces the fruits of action is one who has truly renounced.
So it will be indeed impossible actually to give up all activity. It's not practical. Some people feel, life is very tough, I'll give up everything, take sannyas, sit in the forest. Krishna is saying, you will always be active. That's what Arjuna also proposed. It's not agreed. Therefore, it is said, one who renounces the fruits of action. Don't renounce an activity. Very nice statement in there in Hindi. I think I told you. Chhodna nahi, jodna hai. Don't have to give up anything. You're just connected. Whatever you're doing, you can be an engineer, be very nice engineer, connected to Krishna. You're a doctor, connected to Krishna. You're a family man, connected to Krishna. Whatever you're doing, just connect to Krishna. The result of that should go to please Krishna. Then he is a true renounced.
For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, the desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such results to suffer or enjoy.
There is nothing to worry. See what happens when we act for our own accord, there is a reaction. Yeah? And when you are acting for Krishna, there is no reaction. He will take the blame. So devotee, whatever he does, but the result of what that work he worships Krishna. So there is no reaction for it. Otherwise, the three kind of reaction will come: pleasant, unpleasant, all this kind of thing, desirable, undesirable, and mixed. Will come to anybody. So you act only for Krishna. So we should not do any activity which doesn't end in Krishna's Krishna. Then you are fully renounced. No, otherwise you walking also, you will stand for so many acts, you will die. You have to get that karma. That example is there, no? Who was that Rishi who came as finally forced Vidura to come as a Shudra. Yamaraj came as a Shudra, no? That is Vidura's life. So some Rishi was there. When he was a small child, he had a blade in his hand, it's like children's we play, and he was cutting one small ant or something. Someday as small children will kill insects. He was putting it through.
Jamadevi.
Jamadevi. Not Jamadevi. It's another one. Jamadagini is Parashuram's father. What happened then? This person was sitting in his ashram. And suddenly what happened? Some thieves came looking for shelter. They came to his place. Behind them the army came and they arrested the thieves, arrested him also, the sage. And all got death penalty, including the sage. They thought the sage has given them shelter. Actually not given, just come. They were talking to him. And he was about to be killed. At that time, the king came to know, such a great sage is being killed. So the king stopped it immediately. What nonsense here, he's a great sage. They were just going blindly by the law. It's a great saint, they cannot kill him. So he was saved, but he got very upset. Why? Because nothing can happen accidentally. It's all is delegated work to the Devatas. He said, how the Yamaraj arranged such a kind of punishment for me. He went to meet Yamaraj. He was a powerful person, would go to Yamaraja's place. So what is this here? I am such a saint, whole life dedicated to the Lord, and you are saying that I have to suffer like this. He said, yes, when you were a child, you killed an ant like this. Therefore, every action is equal opposite.
Reaction.
So he becomes so upset, he said, don't know law, go become a Shudra. He was so powerful, he could curse Yamaraj to become Shudra. That is Vidura's birth. So interesting. So you have to be very careful. So when you walk also, that means we are killing ants, you have to take reaction for that. Therefore keep chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Try not to kill, but if you kill, you are walking for Krishna. Reaction will go to Krishna. Any activity, do it for Krishna consciousness. If any by mistake, suppose you have given encourage to somebody, Krishna has burned that reaction. Otherwise, take the reaction. Therefore, when you are doing sense gratification, and in the course of sense gratification, whatever sinful activities happen, you have to take the blame. But in devotion service to the Lord, suppose you are cooking, now so many microbes die when you are cooking. They die. Bacteria will die when you are cooking here. Fire is there, they will die. You will not get the reaction. Because you are cooking for Krishna. But you are cooking for your own pleasure. I want a samosa to eat today. Take the reaction. Without fearing the troublesome effects of his duty, a devotee should walk.
Mighty Arjuna, learn from me of the 5 factors which bring about the accomplishment of all action. These are declared in Sankhya philosophy to be the place of action, the performer, the senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul.
It's easy to understand. See, any management, big manager accepts 4 things. They don't accept the 5th thing. That's a mistake. They agree. Suppose we have to do now Gita class. We will discuss 18th chapter of Gita today. First thing, we need a place. It can't happen in here. Number 1, performer. All of us have to gather together. Otherwise the activity cannot happen. Then senses we need. I need mouth to speak. We need ears to hear. Otherwise the activity cannot happen. We need this, mind, all these things we need. Then even if all these things are there, we need to put endeavor. If all these things collect, and I don't speak, you don't hear, the class will not happen. So these things are also needed. Correct? We have to use ourselves. Any management recognizes these 4 principles. They forget the 5th principle, the super soul. Even if all these 4 things are there, Krishna's sanction is not there, nothing will happen. That people don't know. He is a background arrangement. All the 4 things are under his control. If he does not wish, nothing will happen. So how these big managers will forget this. That the Lord behind the whole thing. Correct? They make big plans, minute to minute plans. They forget that Krishna's sanction is there behind. If the Krishna's sanction is not there, nothing will happen.
Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind or speech is caused by these 5 factors.
Because whatever happens, these 5 factors are involved. So somebody may say, okay, then why does bad thing people do when God is in the sanction finally? Why bad things happen? Can't God stop me? One person was telling, I do this bad activity, I drink sometime, I smoke sometime. Why can't Krishna stop me if he is in control? Krishna doesn't deal like that. He will instruct you. Not only 1 million times instructed you, don't do that. But you're pushing, I want. Okay, do at your risk. It's like a child says, I want to touch a knife. Don't touch, hand will get hurt. I want to touch. Okay, touch it. At your own risk, touch. In that way it is. When right work is work done in terms of prescribed direction of the scripture, and wrong work is work done against the principle of the scriptural actions. So how do you define right and wrong? How do you define right and wrong? Many people say, how do you define? Actually, big philosophers understood if God is not there, it cannot be defined. Because you have one definition, another definition will battle. We need an arbiter final, which is right, which is wrong. Therefore, we have to go to Krishna. And what does Krishna say is recorded in the scriptures. So it has to be seen according to scriptures what is right, what is wrong. We can't make our own opinion. You have no right to make it. What is the value of your opinion? In my opinion, get lost. What is the value of your opinion? Yeah? In my opinion. What is the value of your opinion? Dog also has an opinion. Just like they have said now, the Hinduism is way of life. What is nonsense? What is nonsense? We have to see Dharmam to Shakshad Bhagavad Pranitam. First thing, this word Hindu doesn't exist in the scripture. Number 2, religion is anyway not dealing with all this kind of things. Religion is what is the order of the Supreme. If that is being taken place, that is religion. Otherwise it's useless. So right work is done in terms of prescribed direction of the scripture. Scripture is showing direction. If you do that, that is right. And what they are showing wrong, if you do that, that is wrong. That is the principle to accept something is right or something is wrong.
Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are.
Generally people don't, or they think, fifth they never see. Sometimes people also see themselves only. Doesn't mean activity needs other 3 factors also. Place is needed, endeavor is needed, other people are needed, energy has to be applied, and finally the Lord is needed. The thing only me, I am there. Oh, we have to put endeavor, no? So like that, people don't see the 5 factors are needed for any activity. A foolish person cannot understand the super soul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions. Actually, the material causes are the place, worker, endeavor, senses, and final cause the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should see not only the 4 material causes, there are 4 material causes, but the supreme efficient cause as well. But it does not see the supreme, thinks himself as to be the instrument. Why the devotion comes? Because we forget that no activity happens without the sanction of God. Therefore, we become very doer. And in chanting also thinking, this has to be done, this has to be done. And what you will do, you chant Hare Krishna. So this has to be done, this has to be done. You are thinking about the whole world because you have doership in his heart. You have theoretically understood, but you not realized Supreme Lord is there. Again, that has to be. Okay? Because of doership.
One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, is not a slayer, nor is he bound by his actions.
When a soldier kills under the command of a superior officer, he is not subject to be judged. But a soldier kills on his own personal account that is certainly judged by the court of law. Correct? So we work on the order of Krishna.
Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are three factors which motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer comprise the threefold basis of action.
This is just tip of iceberg. It's a huge Sankhya can go into. See what happens, just like this mic is there. Now there are three things associated with it. I know this mic is there. Mic is the object of my knowledge and the knowledge of the mic. Three things. Now this is what knowledge is constituted of. Correct? Now in modern science, they only talk about knowledge. They forget there is a knower and there is an object of knowledge. This can go on actually. That is why they are slipping in science in so many areas. They forget about the knower. And then the object of knowledge, they deal as a substance. They see that object is formed from substance. But the Vedic Sankhya says substance is first. Object is first, substance comes later. So anyway, this is a very big Vedic analysis is different. I know little of it, but the difference is there. We start with the object and whatever substance can fill it. Just like if you're form-based, Vedic science, Sankhya is form-based Sankhya. And we think, no, atoms, electrons, they make a substance. They say no, they don't start with the object. They start with the object and it can be filled up with any substance. The senses work and the doer comprise the threefold basis of action. So action and needs its needs. There are senses are there, and the work is there, and the doer is there. When the inspiration is there and the worker is there, proper the Dandakal Sankhya hai. The inspiration is there, the worker is there, then actual activity takes place by the help of the senses. The inspiration is needed, worker is needed, then the activity happens with the help of the senses.
In accordance with the three modes of material nature, there are three kinds of knowledge, action, and performers of action. Listen as it described them.
Now all these things, action, performer, action, knowledge that Krishna is talking about, he said they get affected by the three modes and the behavior changes. Let us see how it changes.
That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all existences, undivided in the divider, is knowledge in a mode of goodness. So
this is goodness, where a person understands that actually every way spirit soul is there. Whoever I meet, he is not because a Sattva-guna person can understand body is different from the soul. So he lives on spiritual platform. Bodily differences he ignores. He has nothing to do with it. They want unity in this world. How can a unity? One is black, one is white. It's a different one. How can he unite? It's different. But on spiritual platform, somebody is intelligent, somebody not so intelligent, somebody is handsome, somebody not so handsome. There are differences there. How can there be unity? Unity is there because fundamentally everybody is a spirit soul. There where the unity stands. It's a similar soul everywhere. It's not one soul. Similar soul everywhere. Therefore there is unity. It's not that we are photostat copy of each other. We are different individuals. But in this world, our spiritual variety is not manifest. And the material variety which we are showing today, correct? All of us are looking different. It has no spiritual significance. It has nothing connected to a spiritual existence. Prabhupada is concluding thus to see that one superior nature, the living force in everybody, is to see the mode of goodness. There is a superior nature, living force in everybody is seeing the mode of goodness. Goodness is able to see that actually the living force, the soul is there in every body, apart from the body.
That knowledge by which a different type of living entity is seen to be dwelling in different bodies is knowledge in a mode of passion.
A moment the heart is pinched by sense gratification, even theoretically you know that actually all bodies are just packets, there is soul that will not help you. Oh, he is handsome, she is beautiful. These things will pinch you because we are in mode of passion. We see differences. I gave the example of you are watching movie, why you get attracted? Because desire is there. There is no material desire, the movie is shown, waste of time. We have some desires to fulfill and then we get attracted. Similarly, when you see differences in this world, and somebody who is a Mukta Purusha, that difference is no meaning for him. But we are not Mukta Purusha, we have material desires, so we become agitated when we see differences. Material variety enchants us. That is in the mode of passion. The concept that the material body is a living entity and that the discussion of the destruction of the body, the conscious is also destroyed, the knowledge in the mode of passion. You see, therefore, different type of living entities seem to be developing in different types of. There is no knowledge of the soul, mode of passion. And Prabhupada also says some strange philosophies also sometimes.
And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in a mode of darkness.
Therefore, we go to so many people. Please read Bhagavad Gita every day, chant every day. No. He's absorbed, he's a doctor, he's an engineer, he's absorbed in that work. Krishna is saying he's in a mode of ignorance, mad person. For Prabhupada is explaining his condition. For him, God is money. Many people. And the knowledge means satisfaction of the bodily demand. That is knowledge. They can satisfy bodily comfort, that is knowledge. He is an animal actually, because he is feeling somehow if I can arrange some bodily comfort, my life will be successful. Animal. And sometimes this animalism is extended. You know, there was somebody who came to me and said, I used to see you regularly for Gita classes, not come. No, nowadays, I have joined one club, we go to orphanages and I help. I said, it's mode of ignorance, darkness. Because you are forgetting that these individual bodily comfort or extended bodily comfort is all in the mode of darkness. Nobody will be happy by that. But people are like that. In other words, knowledge concerning the spirit soul beyond this body is called knowledge in the mode of goodness. Prabhupada is now summarizing. The knowledge producing many theories and doctrines by dint of mundane logic and mental speculation in the mode of passion. A knowledge concerned with only keeping the bodily comfortable is the mode of ignorance. So individual or extended, it doesn't matter, no, not my physical comfort. I am thinking of physical comfort or whatever it is. If you are thinking only physically, you are in mode of darkness. No brain substance.
As for actions, that action in accordance with duty, which is performed without attachment, without love or hate, by one who has renounced fruitive results, is called action in the mode of goodness.
Now it has come to action. Knowledge is understood in the three proper summarized also. Goodness he can understand, I am not body, spirit, soul. In passion, he looks differently and also proper adds up, he creates some funny theories. So many, all mental speculation. And in ignorance, he is only mad after sense gratification, after bodily comfort. Generally in Kali Yuga you find only third category. Mad after physical comfort. He has 10 lakh rupee car, no, he wants 80 lakh rupee car. Why? Because it can go in 5 seconds from 0 to 400 km per hour. What you will do in these roads with that? Broken roads, pothole, where you drive. But just for a little, little. Maybe some comfort, he goes, whole life is wasted like a dog. You see, any youngster with a big picture of some car with it, whole life aspiring for that also. Actually animal life. These are all, Prabhupada used to say, decorated, well-dressed animals. Well-dressed animals. 99% people in society are only well-dressed animals. Actually animals. Because animal, that is the platform. Physical comfort with them, a life is done. There's no higher principle. So you may say, I am taking care of some orphans. That also is extended only, no? Because there also you are thinking physical comfort will make them happy. Equal matters. It is not given any credit. This kind of sentimentality is thrown from the pages of Bhagavad. So now it is going to actions. That action in accordance with duty, which is performed without attachment, without love or hate, by one who is renouncing fruitive activity. That's beautiful. No love, no hate. Again, the principle of duty. Principle of duty, when you do anything, that becomes sattvic. And when it is done out of attraction, repulsion, that becomes rasic. And you just don't do duty, simply sleep, that it becomes tamasic. It's easy to identify.
But actions performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and which is enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in mode of passion.
Okay? Passion means he works for his sense gratification. Rajas, his mind is out of control, like a monkey, he is active. Today in the society, these are the people who are worshipped. Okay? And then they will do aarti for them. They will not even think what kind of person is he. There was a Karnataka man, now he is gone, his airlines also went and he was almost bankrupt now. People used to, he was the idol for many people. Oh, so rich he is. What is he doing? He is enjoying his senses. His ambition in life is to gratify his senses, which is enacted from the sense of false ego. All activities are full of ahankara. They are so envious, jealous of other people. This is nonsense. Just like there may be 3 students in a college. Generally give this example. One student is there, he never comes to the class. Even he comes, he is sleeping. He is in ignorance, darkness. One comes, he studies very hard, 20 hours a day. But he wants to be number 1. If somebody does better, he is jealous of him. That is passion. One is peaceful study and actually does best marks because he has wisdom. Wisdom is all in Sattva-guna. Rajoguna, there is no wisdom. You can cram a moment and forget everything. There is no wisdom. Actually, the activity is a waste of time. An animal also eats. What is the worry about eating? If you are doing something, do it properly. Otherwise, don't do it. Do it properly. But no, cram, moment and forget. Rajas, Tamoguna, Sattva-guna only you can have wisdom. Very few people actually even study goodness. So great effort by one to seeking to gratify his desires. False ego. So this is, as Sattva, you ask him why you study. It's my duty, no? I think it's best. Somebody does well, he is congratulated happily. Mode of passion, he cannot congratulate him. He thinks he is the best.
And that action performed in ignorance and delusion without consideration of future body or consequences which inflicts injury and is impractical is said to be action in the mode of ignorance.
Okay. So without consideration of anything, what will happen in the future, person doesn't know I am doing this, what is the reaction of this going to come? He is not thinking about the future. Like I said that Kasab, he was caught now. And he was about to be hanged. That time he said, Khuda kasam aisa dobara nahi karunga. Arey kiya kya? Why did you do such activity? No reasonable man will accept why you should do that. Why you should kill innocent people for what? For what purpose are you killing the innocent people? Madness. So these activities are performed in ignorance. And generally what happens in society today, they do agree that ignorance is bad, but they are all there only. Because most of the time sleeping and all bad habits, vices, lethargy, that's the society. And they dream to become Rasic. But the Vedic culture is Sattva. Prabhupada says today the standard of success is Rajoguna. But Vedic culture, the standard of success was Sattva. Because what has happened in the society today is that just like in 100 marks you can't get, chalo, 30 chalega, that becomes the standard. That's why Andho mein Khana Raja. And that man is considered very successful. Actually, we have to produce people in society who are sattvic. And even if we can produce 1% people like lakh, whole society we can create a revolution. True? We have to create ideals who are in Sattva-guna. That society is and so if we produce engineers, doctors, all respectable people in this society who are sattvic, people just by seeing their example, they cannot follow that. But to certain extent, they will try to follow those role models.
The worker who is free from all material attachments and false ego, who is enthusiastic and resolute and is indifferent to success or failure, is a worker in the mode of goodness.
So now work has started. He has no attachment, no false ego, very enthusiastic, indifferent to success or failure. That doesn't matter. As a duty I was studying, if I failed, what can I do? I tried my best. That is a goodness. That's it. That's all it is. He's not good at effort. But it's peaceful. As a duty I tried, what can I do? But generally, people feel they will get better marks in passion. Or in goodness you will do better, even as a student, even in life. Finally, life is for enjoyment. No? Why you want to live in passion and harass yourself? Passion means mind is harassed. Why? What is the purpose? Why we are so worried about Bhuta that we have to give up our principles? And at the end we lose everything. And the Prabhupada gives an example. No? There was a man, he was very hungry. So he went to some house. Previously India was very rigid. So rigid that if you are a Hindu and you eat a house and a Muslim, you will be excommunicated from the community. People will kick you out. You can't associate with them. They were so strong. Anyway, this was just for a story's sake. That man was so hungry, he didn't look which is the house, whose it is. So he went inside. And that person was, he said, can you give me some food? He said, okay. The person was very poor. He said, okay, told his wife, whatever you have, they cooked him, gave him. Arey, what this you brought half chapati? I'm so hungry, I need at least 10. They looked at the little more atta, they made another half chapati. Imagine he wants more to eat. So they cook, they said, no, his food is over, we don't have anything. Then he says, what is your caste? He said, we are Muslims. Huh? He said, my hunger is also not satisfied and I lost my caste, my religion also. Because some people will kick him out. Just an example, say the point is that and if you think I make a shortcut, I will become all to sense gratification, I achieve something, sir. Whatever you have also you will lose. Don't make a shortcut. It will become zero.
But that worker who is attached to the fruits of his labor and who passionately wants to enjoy them, who is greedy, envious, and impure, and moved by happiness and distress, is a worker in a mode of passion.
Yes, you see that. They throw a ball and if the batsman hit for six, the bowler starts crying. And in case he's out, they jump like mode of passion. Mode of passion. Here Krishna is saying, he moved by happiness or distress. I did my best, fine. You tried your attempt. They're all actually they're animals. These are the ideals of the society, animals. Not if you look at their personal life, low class animals. In society, people are better than them. That is the unfortunate class. The entertainers be Shudra. Any entertainer be Shudra. They are the lowest class of people in the society, always traditional. But in Kali Yuga, all the actors, actresses, these are all sportsmen. What are they? Entertainers. Entertainer means fourth class of society. Brahmana doesn't entertain people. He has study to do. Kshatriya doesn't entertain people. He has administration to do. Vaishya doesn't entertain people. He has to manage society. Now it will come. He has to give resources to society. Entertainment was done from the fourth class of people. But today, these are the richest people in the society. And they are worshipped. So we can see where the society is. They are 10th class, so they worship 4th class.
And that worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scriptures, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in inciting others, who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is a worker in the mode of ignorance.
You guess when ignorance what happens? Materialistic, obstinate, cheating, all this kind of thing. Expert in this. Some people take pleasure. They speak some words, they take great pleasure when he gets hurt. They get envious of the fellow. And then, in a society there are dealings. They will say something to hit him. That satisfies their envy. So these are all tamasic behaviors. Always morose, procrastinate, work and more. They're all very practical things, isn't it? Very, very practical things which we can see in our life.
Now, O winner of wealth, please listen as I tell you in detail of the 3 kinds of understanding and determination according to the 3 modes of nature.
The 3 modes of nature affect actually everything. There was a whole huge chapter upon it. Now Krishna is adding some more things here. It will change our understanding and this. Yeah.
O son of Pritha, That understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, that understanding is established in the mode of goodness.
So goodness, what happens, person knows what is right, what is wrong. In passion is confused, and in ignorance it does reverse. What is not supposed to be done, it does. And what is supposed to be done, it doesn't. That's how it is. Yeah.
And that understanding which cannot distinguish between the religious way of life and the irreligious, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, that imperfect understanding, O son of Pritha, is the mode of passion.
So he is confused, but it doesn't do sinful activity. The moment you do sinful activity, it immediately down to ignorance. Sattvic person is sharp. I don't want to get into this. Correct? That kind of feeling is there. That is sattvic. Say, I'm coming for smoking. No. I don't want to get into this. This is sattvic. Rasic person, smoking. Somehow he doesn't do it, but harassment has started. His mind is impure. And tamasic, he is that is tamasic. Sometimes what happens, no? You go to somebody and you say that you can sometimes. As a teacher, you go and you see students smoking. Sometimes it happens. I was so I just go 1 or 2 stops early, because otherwise I don't get seat. Before the college, 1 or 2 stops, I take auto go so that I can get a seat. 1.5 hours, cannot stand. So now what happens is that when I go there, I just went and landed the auto. So many 7-8 boys with cigarette in their hand. Now when they are sattvic, they will not touch it. And anyway, cigarette means your tamasic nature has started. But at one stage they feel ashamed about it. But there is one stage you become shameless. You say, why are you smoking? That is shameless. Tamasic. Rasic, at least he'll feel, I should not have done. I'm sorry. He's still confused, he should do or not, and he knows that it is wrong. Tamasic, he's gone. That's okay. Be careful about it.
That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction, O Pritha, is in the mode of ignorance.
So in the mode of ignorance, we reverse. Okay? In passion is confused, and in sattva is strict, sharp. Yeah.
O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and thus controls the mind, life, and the acts of senses, is in the mode of goodness.
What happens in goodness? Determination is unbreakable. Because it does something which is ought to be done. You can't stop it. In Rajagoda, his determination will get infected, he gets good result, he will be very excited. If bad, he will be distressed. Tamogoda, no determination, only sleeps. His determination is only in dreams. You see many people, they daydreaming that I will become like that, I will become like that. He will not do one work only. That is tamasic. Rajagoda does it. Yeah? Dreaming sometimes, I will become richest man in India. When I go, everybody look at it like that. Everybody does that, daydreaming. You have come from the coming to the material world to become a hero like Krishna. Because spiritual world, that's what happens. When Krishna comes, everybody gets up. Correct? So we think that should happen. When we go somewhere, everybody should get up, take attention. Switch it off now, please. It's disturbing us. Switch off the mobile. Half an hour, world will not change if you switch off the mobile. Yeah.
And that determination by which one holds fast to fruitful result, education, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna.
So in passion, what happens? The determination is looking forward to fruitive result. That is the determination.
Bike help. The children do.
What happens? That scooter slip and that. Okay. So now what happens is that a determination which we are focused on the fruit. It's working hard because he has to make this much profit. And if he makes a loss, they go to depression. So many cases psychiatrists. Everything was going down, so I was so rich and then finally lost money. They can't handle that. That is not in sattva. Sattva says, whatever I was doing some profession, I am not earning money. That's fine. Rajas, he becomes very disturbed because he is focused on the fruit and sense gratification, the nature of passion. Yes. Next.
And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination is in mode of darkness.
At least the passion person makes a determination, I want to make so much money, and he works hard for it. Goodness, he just doesn't work. He's not bothered about money comes or goes. He just does it. Best to his ability, not that he not do anything. He does the best to his ability. He has to do something to maintain himself. But detached, money comes or not comes. But it's easy to say all of us are in that standard. But we can see, because all of us dream, we are in the highest standard. But if you are introspective, for spiritual life, advancement is made only by the person who is introspective. Just like a patient feels he is a normal temperature when you go to doctor. So when we can see, when actually in life loss or profit happens, if we are disturbed or excited about that, then we know we are in passion. Ignorance, there is no effort. At least Rasik man works 20 hours to achieve something. Ignorance, he sleeps and dreams. Becomes the richest man. That's ignorance, madness. And therefore it's a dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness. He's only on that. No, ye ho gaya, wo loss ho gaya, good ho gaya. He will not do 1 inch work. That's all. So the unintelligent determination is the mode of darkness. But those who cannot avoid oversleeping, very important, Prabhupada is saying, watch out where you are. Who cannot avoid the pride of enjoying material objects and who are always dreaming of lording it over material world. This is a big car like that. The whole people will, yes, yeah. Prabhupada is saying, who life, mind and senses thus engage and considered in the mode of, they are nothing but well-dressed animals. A society, 99% people are like that only.
India is being like that. India is being materialistic.
We will discuss that. What you are saying?
No, you said this materialistic. Now India is a karma bhumi. It is being
It has become Bhoga movie.
bhoga bhumi, like America.
No, reaction will come. Because in India what happens when any bad activity happens, reaction is more. Because it's a punya.
Yeah,
Suppose knowledge is there. Somebody does wrong activity, he gets more reaction.
No, people are brainwashed to go in the materialistic way. So,
Yeah. Yes, next.
O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the 3 kinds of happiness which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distresses. That which in the beginning may be just like a poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be the happiness in the mode of goodness.
The Prabhupada is saying something very nice here. Prabhupada is saying a conditioned soul is always engaged in some type of sense gratification. We are all actually always engaged in some kind of, we are all working. There has to be an effort, and we are not working for spiritual happiness, we are working for sensual happiness. Correct? All of us are victimized by the 3 modes. But when we understand by good association, there is only a repetition of the same thing. You can't understand that on your own. That anyway is the same thing. There is the puna puna, charvita charvana. We are chewing the chew. Prabhupada starts with the does it chew the chew. And actually chewing the same pleasure which we have been doing in our life. Therefore, repetition of the same thing. When he is awakened to by only good association, we can understand what is that, the same thing again and again. Correct? Same thing. So that requires good association to overcome. It's not easy to see the tricks of Maya. All these procedures are very difficult, bitter like poison, correct? Because any self-realization, what we say, get up in the morning. So why people so many times they chant, they can't chant. It's very difficult. Great tapasya it is.
big thing people talk. Do that tapasya. No, it's very difficult to do tapasya. 5 minutes to sit down and very difficult to people.
So many times I ask students, did you chant one wrong? So now,
I finish one. That itself is so difficult that 10-minute tapasya or 5-minute tapasya, what they will do.
So actually spiritual life means sadhana. We are at sadhaka level now. Not that this is going on, that is all rubbish. Sadhaka means, therefore we see what is your sadhana. That's all. Then shows what kind of spiritual life you are having. No, always going on. Always you know what is going on. If you are introspective, you know what garbage is going on. So sadhana has to be made part of our life. Then there is a hope of some kind of spiritual life. So there is some tapasya, there is some pain. We don't want to take that pain. There is a pain. Therefore Krishna is saying, in pursuit of self-realization, one has to follow some rules and regulations. Nayam deya devajam loke, kashtan kaman arte kutrujame. Don't, for like an animal, work for sense gratification. Tapo devya, do some tapasya. What is going to happen? Shuddhe sapta, heart will become purified. Then what is the benefit? Brahma Saukya, we can enjoy spiritual happiness. So to come from a platform where I am like a well-dressed animal, only working for sense gratification, to come to a platform where I can relish spiritual pleasures, this just like a medicine. Sometimes medicine is bitter. It's a bitter process. It's painful actually. For a person is accustomed to comforts, to get up. Now today you tell any youngster to get up in the morning, he can't get up. They sleep at 3 o'clock, get up 12 o'clock. If you leave them on the road. Why? Because no tapasya. Nowhere they are taught whole life they have to do tapasya. Nobody teaches. And parents also just pamper that. No, beta, sleep little more. Yeah, I remember my dad. Sleep little more, sleep more. Isn't it? Sleep more. They think, get up. What is the time? 4 o'clock. Get up from the bed. Time for tapasya. There is no training actually. So very difficult. It is painful. But we should not be sentimental. It is painful, but don't be sentimental. Oh, no, so much pain. Get up. You're bitter like poison. So Krishna is saying it is bitter like poison. Today who trains? Nobody trains. Child is sleeping. Better sleep. Little more you sleep. Good health you. Get up. Bitter like. But if he's successful in following the regulation, he comes to the transcendental position. When he begins to drink real nectar, then he begins to drink real. And he enjoys. Then he enjoys real life. Every bit life is made for enjoyment, but not nonsense enjoyment. The real enjoyment.
That happiness which is derived from contact with senses, with your objects, and it appears like nectar at first but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion.
Passion is like this. Young man and young woman meet, and the senses drive the young man to see her, to touch her, and to have sexual intercourse. In the beginning, they may seem very pleasing to the senses, but at the end, it has sometimes become just like poison. Recently, it happened that one girl was raped by 5 people, and one of the mother they interviewed. Finally, at the end, he is a male, no mard hai, ho gaya. That is how the society has concept. But you see what has happened. It may be pleasing, it may be, they say, according to hormones. No, our argument is according to hormones and genes, and no psychologist can defeat it because they have no higher philosophy. They don't agree there is something higher than the brain and the body, that is mind, intelligence, the soul. They have no idea about that. It can be justified according to that. Therefore, some crimes happen sometimes. The study is mad or normal. If he is mad, they don't give much punishment. What can be done? He is mad or like many times they try to get a certificate that he is mad after crime because they avoid big punishment. They attend it because I see it became like a poison now. Now they are in trouble. There is separated or there is divorce and there is lamentation, there is sorrow, there is etc. Such happiness is always in the mood of passion. Happiness, now Prabhupada's Krishna's order. Happiness derived from the combination of the senses and the sense object is always a cause of distress and should be avoided by all means. Somehow or another we should understand. I will never understand this. On your own you can never figure out this line by Prabhupada. You can spend 10,000 years, you will not figure out this. Happiness coming by senses, contacted sense object is a cause of pain you will never figure out. You can only figure out because of an acharyas, if you accept him. Therefore I said, you will advance your spiritual life not by traveling here and there. Take shelter of pure devotee. Previously traveling also for that purpose only. They used to go to Dhama to look for a saint and take a shelter. Yattirtha buddhi savile nakarihichet janeshu vigneshu saiva gokara. If you go to a holy place and think I have taken a dip and I am purified,
Bhagavatam says it is the mentality of an animal. Because animal can also go to holy place and take a dip. But animal has no capacity to take shelter of a child. He has no capacity. Yes.
And that happiness is blind self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion is said to be of the nature of ignorance.
So watch out. Taking pleasure in laziness, sleep is the mode of ignorance. There is no happiness in the beginning or end. Rajoguna, what happens? At least just like there will be some ephemeral happiness at that moment, but the end is troublesome. But Tamoguna, he is only sleeping. Why have I did like this? It's a pain from beginning to end. He is taking drugs, he is putting injection after injection. It is a pain and the end is also pain. Quick death is coming. Yamaraj, please come quickly.
There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary system, which is free from the three modes of material nature.
So here it has been concluded. Yeah, next.
Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras are distinguished by their qualities of work, both castes or enemy, in accordance with the modes of nature.
Okay, so now description of Brahmana. So Krishna has said everything is affected by the three modes, correct? Therefore, these four classes are there because their behaviors are different. They have to do different responsibilities in society. But everything is affected based on Sattva-guna. Therefore, person in Sattva-guna should do one kind of job. Person in Rajoguna should do one kind of job. Tamoguna, one kind of job. Their understanding, their knowledge, their activities, we saw their food, everything is affected by the three modes. So therefore, they are fit for different roles in the society. Yeah.
Peacefulness, self-control,
This shloka we can chant.
Okay.
Samadama tapa saucham
Samadama tapa saucham
Shanti majameva cha
Shantiyajanameva cha
Jnana vijnana astikyam
Jnana vijnana astikyam
Brahma karma svabhajam
Brahma karma svabhajam.
Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge and religiousness, these are the qualities by which the Brahmanas work.
The Brahmana first thing you should be peaceful. Therefore Krishna also asked the Brahmana messenger from Rukmini, are you peaceful? So if you are not peaceful and satisfied, you can't follow any rules after that. Dhamma means full self-control. Tapa means very austere. He is ready for tapasya. Shaucham, very clean, internally, externally. Shanti, very tolerant. If you go and insult a Brahmana, if he gets hurt, he is not a Brahmana. He is a Kshatriya. Dhruva Maharaj said that he gave instruction Narada. He said, I am a Kshatriya, I can't handle. Brahmana can handle. Arjavam is very honest, very simple, straightforward. Gyan, full of wisdom. And Vijnana, full of practical, realized knowledge also, not only just wisdom. And Astikya, always a devotee. If somebody has these qualities, he can occupy the post of a Brahmana. It's a post. You need these qualities to acquire that post. Next.
Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity and leadership are the qualities of work for the Kshatriya.
Kshatriya means 7 qualities. Now today they become defense minister. And when the war happened, they hide. No, he has to be in the front, hero. Purpose is what is the encouragement for the army, because the person who ordered war is hiding in a hole. He has to be in the front. Then there is the encouragement. Yes, this is a real war. He has to be very heroic. Not a, what is going to happen? Not coward. Kshatriya should be very heroic. Powerful. Very determined. Very resourceful. And he has to have courage in battle. And generosity. And they used to be very generous. That's why beautiful temples are built in India. And leadership. These are the qualities of a Kshatriya. Most of the people only talk about this much. Because Rajoguna is the principle of the day. Kshatriya is a symbol of Rajoguna. You see, there was a seminar yesterday. Leadership qualities. A whole city went to it. Very important. Everybody thinks he's a leader. Biggest joke is, you take a class. One person made a video recently. Leadership sutras in Gita. 10,000 hits. Everybody wants to hear. You say, how to become servant of Krishna from Gita? Nobody will. They are not interested to become servant. They want to be leader. The idiot, what leader? They are a servant. People like all these things. Because this is the ideal for society. Maximum they can become even there are no Kshatriya. Proper in the body, if there is no head and arms, what is the body? It's a dead body.
business are the qualities of work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras there is labor and service to others.
So businessman, first thing is organized food. Today businessmen are not interested in food, but organized food. Organized means farms, they organize farms, they see their laborers who are working. There is need of, farming is the first responsibility of the Vaishyas. Food is so expensive today because Vaishyas are not doing the business. Second responsibility is Goraksha. They have to protect their cows. Because Raksha of human being is given to Kshatriya, but Raksha of cow is given to Vaishya. And cow is also very important. Specifically mentioned. They didn't say, now to people like dogs. Previously it is cow. Cow is such a nice animal. Prabhupada said even stool is wonderful. Dog's stool is full of germs. And cow's stool is an insecticide. You can use it anywhere. So cattle raising is a big responsibility of Vaishya and business. Business. Nowadays only they are interested in business, money making. But there are two more duties, farming and cattle raising for Vaishyas. And Shudras, labor and service to others. Kali Yuga only produces Shudras because after their education they have to hunt for a job.
By following these qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now, please hear from me how this can be done.
Okay, so according to our psychophysical nature, actually, we should do activity. That is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya.
By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection.
So one should therefore know that as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, it is duty to render service unto the Supreme. Everyone should be engaged in a devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness. Everyone should think, very important line Prabhupada says, that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Rishikesha. I am working somewhere as a doctor, I am working somewhere as an employee. Yes, sir. Given by occupation by Rishikesha, not by that employer. The master says. And by the result of this work, in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality God, Shri Krishna should be worshipped. So we should think, I am doing whatever I am doing. The appointment by Krishna, do that. But for what? By the result you serve Krishna. Otherwise it is not. People say, do your karma. This is the way karma has to be done.
It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Prescribed duties, according to one's nature, are never affected by simple reactions.
We try to understand this point, that I may do certain activity. What do we do from this? Stop it. Complete it. And Janmashtami. Finish.
Fast.
Finish fast. Okay, so prescribed duties imperfectly. See, if I have a Kshatriya mentality, why I take a job of a businessman? Take a job. So you are a Kshatriya, take a job of a teacher. Teacher is a job of a Brahmana. He enjoys sharing knowledge. But when Vaishyas become teachers, what do they do? You want to study, come to my tuition. It makes money. You ask question, 50 rupees, and I'll answer. Is a Vaishya the job of a Brahmana? Or in the class he is showing power. You are not listening to me? He is Kshatriya, he is not a Brahmana. Brahmana is not interested in respect of his own. He commands respect, he doesn't demand respect. But Kshatriya demands respect. We see all the teachers, they demand respect. They don't command. They are Kshatriya, not Brahmanas. Correct? And Vaishya, they want to make money. It is a Vaishya, he is not a Brahmana. So you should not come to a wrong place. It's not good for you. So better to do our own, what is fit for our own nature. So now only we do translation. Yes.
Every endeavor is covered by